this is not what I plan to be uploading today, but F it, will run with it anyway. Because I think Formula E very well may have just potentially destroyed itself. Within the UK anyways. If you missed the news, then TNT Sports is now going to be the home of live Formula E coverage in the UK and Ireland. And for those unfamiliar with TNT Sports, frankly I hadn't actually heard of it before the rumours started going around that they would be broadcasting Formula E. Basically Formula E is now going to be behind a freaking paywall in the UK. I don't know about other countries, some places maybe already had it behind a paywall, but anyway, Formula E is now behind a paywall. And honestly, I don't think this was the thing to do. I really don't. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with me. So Formula E posted an article about it announcing it the other day that TNT Sports would be broadcasting Formula E this year. They had gotten the rights on a multi-year contract. And said that not only will exclusive television coverage be presented on TNT Sports, most comprehensive and digital ecosystem will see uninterrupted coverage of every race streamed live for viewers in the UK on Discovery Plus. I'll come back to Discovery Plus in a freaking minute, because you may know Formula E was already on Discovery Plus with Eurosport. But again, I'll come back to that in a second. And then alongside extensive editorial coverage on TNT Sports.co.uk to tell the stories of Formula E and the teams itself. Now, Autosport also reported on this story, and they understand it that there could potentially be some races shown on free-to-air channels with race-by-race deals understood to be an option as the season progresses. But really? Putting this series as a whole behind a fucking paywall? Why? Now, you may be wondering, how much? How much are we looking at? Well, this right here is the BT website, bt.com/sport. And there's a couple of options here. You can get a subscription for it. The bundles include all for TNT Sport channels, Europlus, blah, blah, blah. And right now it's on for £1 a month for 3 months, then £18 a month thereafter. But that is on a longer contract, so you have to commit. Existing BT broadband customers can access all 4 TNT Sport channels on their Discovery Plus app for just £20 a month. 1 month rolling contract. Then you can just go through Discovery Plus. Now before on Discovery Plus there was just these 2 tiers, basic and standard, $3.99 a month and $6.99 a month. I've had Discovery Plus before, I don't have it at the moment. I had the standard one before, then you had Eurosport on here, you could watch Formula E on there, all sports, the World Endurance Championship was also on there. But now they have premium, including TNT Sports, $29.99 a month. Yes, let me repeat that. $29.99 a month. Almost as much as freaking Sky Sports. So yeah, basically, you're now forking out, after 3 months, £18 a month, or you're forking out £29 a month, or if you're an existing BT customer, you can fork out just 20 quid a month. So back to that article from Formula E, the CEO of Formula E has made a comment in that said, "This is incredible news for sports fans in the UK who already watch premium live sports on TNT Sports. From next month on, they will get to enjoy this new thrill of Formula E racing, the most competitive motorsport on TV. For existing Formula E fans, we are excited to present TNT Sports as the new home of Formula E in the UK, with experienced professional sports person and broadcaster Jeremy Jeans leading our stellar lineup of expert presenters to provide his original perspective. I cannot English today. Perspective for views. We cannot wait to get to work in Mexico City." I got there in the end. Now, couple of things here. I wouldn't exactly call it incredible news. I mean, for those who already had TNT Sports to begin with, they already paid for it for another sport that they like to watch. I don't know what other sports are on there. I think MotoGP is shown on there. I might be wrong. I can't say I watch MotoGP. But they can maybe find another new sport to watch, and that's fine. But overall, I don't think this will be good for Formula E's growth. I really don't. And honestly, it could push existing fans away because, well, they either maybe don't want to pay for another subscription service or can't afford to pay for another subscription service. Or both. And then, for the fans who they just want to watch Formula E, say they don't watch MotoGP if that's on there, or any other sport that TNT shows, they just want to watch Formula E. That is a fuck ton of money to be forking out just to watch one sport. Honestly, I do think that long term this is not going to be good for Formula E's growth. It would just not. Of course, some might say, but Formula 1 moved behind a paywall in the UK with Sky back in 2012 and Formula 1 has been thriving. True. However, Formula 1 at that point had been around for over 60 years. Formula E, on the other hand, hasn't even been around for 10 yet. Formula E is big. I believe it's the 4th biggest motorsport. I believe, I might be mistaken on that one. But it's not as big as Formula 1 was when they moved behind a paywall with Sky. Putting it on free to air, it was on ITV, it's been on Channel 5, it's been on BBC and Channel 4. Having on those free to air channels, that was really good for them, and it was really good for their growth. Now putting it behind a paywall, I think that might just scupper the growth a little bit, because people say, like, oh, you should watch Formula E. Oh, really? How can I watch it? Oh, it's on TNT Sports. And then they go and look it up, and then they see they need to fork out like 20, 30 quid a month. It's like, what? Do I really want to fork out 20 or 30 quid a month just to see if I like it and I maybe won't like it? Could this overall kill Formula E in the UK? Well, no, I don't think it'll overall kill it, but it could really, really destroy it and hamper it a lot, I think. It's just not going to be good for the sport. I really don't think so. And honestly, the statement that Formula E's audience isn't really big enough for it to go behind a paywall, that expensive of paywall especially, that can just be shown on their YouTube channel and also looking at the lives of last season on the Channel 4 Sport YouTube channel. So let's just take a scroll down the ABB Formula E YouTube channel. The most recent videos aren't even hitting, the last 4 videos not even hitting 10,000 views. Honestly, it's all 20, 30,000 views, a lot under 10,000. Some videos getting a bit more when you scroll a bit further down. And then if we just take a look at Channel 4 Sport YouTube channel and see the last 2 rounds of last season, round 16 race in London, 61k, 15k for quali, practice a lot lower, and 35k for round 15, 14k for quali, not as many for practice, and then Rome, again, not that many, nowhere near as many people as watch Formula 1. Like, seeing these kinds of numbers, honestly, it just doesn't instill confidence that this is gonna be a good move for Formula E. They're gonna lose a lot of viewers because a lot of people just won't want to pay for another subscription service, or maybe they can't afford it. They've cut themselves off from a lot of fans. And especially in like today's climate, cost of living and all, things are getting more expensive. And then just searching the term Formula E on Twitter and then just taking a scroll down. Matt Ames, a brilliant content creator, you probably know about him. Last 4 videos on their YouTube channel have struggled to reach 10k views, and now they expect these fans to be willing to pay for live races behind a paywall. I think for many this will be the nail in the coffin for Formula E's future. Huge L. Bluebell TW. I'm not paying £30 a month just to watch Formula E. They've made it so inaccessible to so many people. This is a joke. Oh, and she also makes a very good point here about Sky Sports. It's like £35 a month, but they broadcast the majority of motorsport series. Break, does putting Formula E behind a paywall help the sport or just hurt it? I really enjoyed watching a few races last year, but there's no way I'm paying for another streaming service. F1_Amy, a paywall for a series already struggling with viewers is a strange move. It's not going to do much to improving ratings, so I fear this could be a massive mistake by Formula E. At Mr. Pulse F1, he replied to Break saying, putting MotoGP behind a paywall on TNT absolutely decimated the sport in the UK. Formula E has an even smaller audience than MotoGP did, so I can't see it being a good thing. I fully agree with you there, mate. Charlie from WTF1 saying, alright, so that's me, a long-term Formula E fan, not watching FE next season. And then at Newtons88_ replied, putting Formula E on a paid service was the worst thing they could do for growth and interest. At Last Ninja Cow, just when Formula E was getting exciting, closing it off behind a paywall is the wrong call. This will only lead to less viewership and interest in the UK and Ireland. And then at Formula E Source, who I follow on Twitter, sums it all up very, very nicely. Not one good response to the TNT Sports announcement, by the way. This is gonna be so bad for Formula E. It just is. But what do you think? UK people, like, what do you think of Formula E now being behind a paywall? People from other countries. How do you if you watch Formula E, how do you watch it in your country? Like, is it behind a paywall in your country, or? Let me know your thoughts on this whole thing down below in the comments. Not Formula 1, but I like Formula E and I really wanted to speak about this. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.